All right. Thanks so much for bearing with me there. For some reason, I was not getting the connectivity that I needed, and I had to have our audio video guy come in here and help me out and make sure that we got everything connected as it was. All right, guys. Thanks so much again for being with me here today. I'm really excited to be with you guys as we are going to be diving into a couple of things. We are going to be looking at, ultimately how do we use the platform to get more listings. Now, the one reason why I want to let you know that, this is a primary focus of sharing with you guys is because the anticipation of the turn of the year, right? There's a whole bunch of things going on from a leadership administration of, the White House, et cetera, around making money cheaper to borrow. And when money is cheaper to borrow, of course, that drives demand around mortgages, right? Because if people can get more house for less money, that is always going to cause a spike in the real estate economy. So what I want to get at on that is knowing that the Fed, Jerome Powell is meeting this week. We'll find out if it's going to go down 0, 25 basis points. And my guess and hope is actually going to be 50 basis points. So this is one of those things that, again, if that happens, there is absolutely a bit of I don't want to say a gold rush that could happen, but these are spikes and opportunities giving you guys the framework of how you can go out and meet more prospective sellers. So one of the things I want to share with you today is actually looking at the leads that you already have, right? I believe it's Tom Ferry that says you don't have a lead problem, you have a conversion problem. And I have to admit, I tend to agree with him because a lot of times people have contacts. They have more than 500 or 200 or 500 people. And if you have 500 people that are, let's say 500 homeowners, or you have 500 homes inside of your database that you're able to market and prospect to, well, if we took a simple math equation of that, and realize that 5% of those people are going to mathematically sell their house every single year, well, that's 25 transactions. And then the other point that I want to make on that is that 50% of those people are also going to buy another house. So when we do simple math on that, that's 37 transactions in the scenario that I just gave to you guys, right? And if we can add 37 transactions to what we're already doing, the greater body of real estate agents would be ecstatic to have that many transactions closing on a year in and year out basis. And if you're already there, well, guess what? We have the opportunity to add more of these by growing my contact list. Okay. So what I want to do today is give you some frameworks on how we're going to, use cash offers to get the listing. With that, I want to share some slides here and we'll go through it. Now, let me go ahead and actually turn on my chat before I share my slides here. Real quick on this, as always, this is, very interactive. So whether you're watching this live or you are watching this in a recording after the fact, right? Just drop the comment. And, if you're on YouTube, we'll certainly answer it and get back to you. Of course, if we're live, I will take a minute here at the end and I will answer these live. And even if it's a good burning one, I will potentially pull you on the call, because do remember that if you have the question, there is a solid chance that somebody else is having the question as well. So don't hesitate. Be unfiltered, ask the question, because at the end of the day, this is about, closing deals and cashing checks, right? That's how I like to refer to it. But also serving your community, right? If we can serve in a big way, if we can problem solve in a big way, more than likely not, you're going to earn in direct proportion to the problem that you're solving for you. So how do I use cash offers to get new listings? Well, number one thing I want you all to know is that oftentimes a lot of people in today's times are going to be using cash offers as really almost kind of like, I don't want to say step number one, because they may be just curious, right? Not serious. And they'll see what a cash buyer is willing to pay for their house so they can go have a serious conversation, maybe now 6 months or even 12 months. Because what I want to share with you on this is one of the best data points that we have around this, and it actually comes from Opendoor. And it's because they are publicly traded. They have to do reportings and findings. And of Q4 of 2024, Carrie Wheeler, who was then the sitting CEO of Opendoor, reported and shared that over 70% of the deals that they did were not cash offer one, it was cash offer two and beyond, that they chose to, ultimately take their offer and accept that cash offer option. So what I'm wanting to communicate with you guys by that is understanding that it's not always one when you create that new opportunity. So if for some reason, let's talk in a scenario here real quick. If you're talking to a homeowner and you met them at a soccer game or a networking event, or it was a referral, or you were doing some lead generating, even if it's a, a canceled listing, an expired listing, maybe even a for sale by owner, right? For sale by owner is obviously going to be a little bit different of a scenario, but it's not necessarily the cash offer one that they're going to be ready to transact and go and ultimately say, yes, this works. And there is, if you do it enough, there's going to be a portion that will do that. But the large body are not going to be ready to transact and do something that very first cash offer option. And there's going to be a requirement of some follow-up, which is the whole reason why we brought around the home report, right? Which is where that system, and again, I can kind of take you guys through that here in a moment as we go into a live account. But it gives them not only their home facts, it serves up their different cash offer options every single 2 weeks. So month after month, guys, the system is going to work for you and ultimately helping you cure out those leads and ultimately convert these people that are interested in these types of solutions and ultimately interested in selling their house. Okay, so what I do once this happens, right, and people are raising their hand and ultimately wanting to find out about their cash offer option, I'm going to show them all of the different instant cash offer options that are available for them, right? I call this my discovery process. So what I do in that is I'm going to share with them, even if one of the options is a little bit lower than the market value than I want it to be. Let's say it happens to be a cash offer, right? A lot of times right now, the hedge funds and REITs that are inside of Zoodealio, the offers are very conservative because they're not a fan of what's been going on with a lot of the super up and down, uncertain future in the real estate market. And they want to see, I think, a bit of a recovery before they'll increase their offers. So, of course, they want a deep discount if they are to move forward. Well, I'm going to still share that cash offer option with them and say, hey, these are some of the institutional buyers out here that are available, looking to buy. And due to what's been going on in the real estate economy, their offers are very conservative. So I wanted to just kind of showcase with you, these are not options that I think that you should consider. However, I just wanted to let you know that these are available for you. What this offer does is they are going to buy it. A lot of times they're going to either, maybe resell it. More times than not, they're going to buy it and actually rent it out, right? So that's where sometimes, even with the rent being conservative, I may share with them on that piece, right? Like just the house being purchased for cap rate, right? Those types of frameworks. So then from there, I'm going to move on and share the cash plus. And now I'm going to share with them and say, hey, this is a offer, as you'll see, is very in line with the market value of your home. Now, there's a couple of caveats on this that I want you to be aware of. Number one is you're going to receive a portion of your equity up front. Now, what's so great about this is your house is going to be resold on the open market, and you're actually going to get the difference of that initial payout to what it sells for on the open market. So you're going to realize all of the available equity that your house has based on the actual current market conditions. So this is a cash offer that we can actually guarantee full market value. Right now, I would maybe break down the terms, those types of things, and I would share with them the different, kind of cash offer upfront initial payout. Then I'm also going to share with them the cash plus with repairs, let them know that this works like the previous offer. However, it has a repair component that actually could potentially increase their equity, right? So if they're in an area that could really benefit from a remodel, or the house could benefit from a remodel, and ultimately a formula of where we can put in $1.50 and get $2.25, in return, then the math starts to make a lot of sense, and I'm going to show them how they can do that. And then, of course, the final one I'm going to share with them is the sell now, move later, which is going to share with them ultimately that they can lease back their house on a month-to-month basis up to a year, and it works just like the previous two offers that I had shared, where they're going to realize a portion of their equity right now, and then they're going to get the rest of their equity once the buyer buys the property and resells the property once they have vacated the property. Okay, so now why I do that, guys, and share this piece is because I'm sharing the different offers and options to do a discovery and needs and wants analysis, right? So now I'm going to ask them, hey, is there a reason that you're looking to access your equity so quickly? Is there a reason that you would want to lease back your house on a monthly basis? Right? So maybe I can find out a little bit more about the situation of what it is that they're looking to achieve. Now, I want to introduce you to a couple of tools that you have right here on this, okay? So number one, I think sometimes when we, have a lead and I just send them a link, or I say, hey, here's your offers, and I expect them to go through the offer dashboard, that's not the experience that they're looking for, right? I'm going to use the technology. I'm going to use these products, ultimately what there are, right? You have a platform product, you have a store, and, product, right? Whatever they're going to the store to technically buy or shopping for. I'm going to use that to build a relationship. Okay. My whole goal is to still get them to know me, like me, and trust me. Okay. I do want to segue real quick because I think this is a really important point. And I was talking to somebody about this real quick. So why I believe in prospecting and getting this not met bucket to the met bucket, right, of my contacts and letting them, especially if it's, somebody that is not my direct network, right, and maybe not a family member or somebody that's, super close to me. I want them to realize that I am able to provide unique real estate services and solve problems in a unique fashion through knowledge, through really just being very resourceful, right? Which is what Zoodealio does. So here's what I want you guys to know and to take note of. A little more, roughly 70% of all real estate transactions that are done by referral or repeat, right? So why that is, we all know that that's overwhelming amount of pool of business. Well, that's exactly why I want you to realize why prospecting is so darn important. I was just talking to an agent the other day that has gotten multiple referrals from an agent from a homeowner that they had prospected, right? They were making canceled, I believe, expired calls. They pulled them in, got the house sold. And then since then, they've had, half a dozen referrals from this particular prospect over a multiple year basis. So that's exactly what I want you guys to see, right? Is the importance of pulling in one new client. So if I can have this bucket of people that don't know me, I don't really know them, and I get to pick them one by one and pull them over to my side of things that people I have met, I have got to know, right? I want them to think of me or think of real estate and think of me, right? And so the reason why I want to give you these tools, show you these frameworks, guys, is these are the types of things that will start separating you from the other real estate agents that they know. Unfortunately, not all real estate agents have the best reputation. And so what I want to do is give you the tools that are going to help you sharpen that saw so that you can provide exponential customer service, right? And so by doing things like this is where they're raising their hand to look at the different cash offer option. I'm maybe not going to go insert all of my, hey, I'm, the best real estate agent ever. I've sold this many houses. Here's why you should list because you'll make more, right? I'm not hitting that at that particular point, right? I'm going to go to them and share with them the different cash offer options because that's what they raised their hand on. I'm going to use the platform. I'm going to use the different products to ultimately fact find and build a relationship and be consultative and be, ultimately start to insert my fiduciary, have a fiduciary representation for them. And I'm going to do that through that discovery process. Okay, so back on point here, why I want you guys to know this is these that you'll see right here. I can show you where you can find this. You have a ridiculous amount of resources inside of Zoodealio when you create the cash offer, right? So we all know that the cash offer gets created instantaneously. Let's say I go down there and this is a serious prospect, so I want to finalize that offer, right? I'm going to ask her those couple of questions. Hey, maybe the mortgage balance I'm uncertain of, so I'm just going to put in 0. They don't have any other liens on the property, right? So now 1 to 3 business days, the offer comes back, right? And now these are all finalized options that I know that I can go present to that homeowner, ultimately to go through the different cash offer options that are available to them. Okay, so now I want to show you the next thing here, right? So what I like to do, going back to this, is I'm going to maybe share the different cash offer options with them, right? Let's say I have the cash plus with repairs. I'm getting the different breakdown. I'm going to show them the different, options that I have, and this is going to be printed out PDF. Right now, also on this, just as an FYI, there's frequently asked questions, right? And this is us playing the long game because what I want you to understand is more times than not, these types of leads that we're hitting are a 0 to 12 month lead, right? Look at the data point that I showed you guys before. 70% are in a follow-up capacity, right? And that's where I have to be certain. I have to continue to bring value. I have to continue to ultimately service their needs so that I'm in the right place when they're ready to move forward. Okay, so again, I'm going to get by the different cash offer options in the tile in the agent dashboard. You click on the 3 dots. There's a button there that says PDF. Boom, I'm going to download that. Okay, then I also have the PDF that with all of them that I'm going to get the side-by-side comparison, right? So I'll have one options, the cash plus, cash plus with repairs, sell now, move later, and then I'm going to get basically a summary page. Okay, so this summary page, which really ultimately breaks things down, is going to show them what is the amount of money that they're going to put in their pocket, right? Because a lot of times getting things off the ground, it is often a math problem, not a word problem, right? So I'm going to kind of show them what all of that happens and what that looks like. Okay, so let's get a little bit more tactical here. So part of how I'm going to uncover their needs, right, is if I'm going to go back here on this, is in, a lot of times the initial cash offer is going to be very attractive to the homeowner. But I'm also going to be very clear with them. Let's say that in this scenario, like you have a Cash Plus repairs where they have a $744,000 offer. Let's just say that that's very in line with market. Give or take, right? The house will probably end up selling somewhere between 7.25, 750. And what I need to uncover though is that first payout and make sure that that first payout is going to work for them. So I'm going to be very upfront with them and say, hey, just as an FYI, the initial payout on this, because repairs have to happen. There's the reserve, which is the security instrument for the buyer. And I want you to realize that, when we list and resell the property, if the property was to sell for less than the 744, the amount that you will receive is deducted from that reserve. But it also works the other way. If for some reason we end up selling the property for 750, 755, 760, not only will you get 100% of the reserve, you'll get those additional proceeds. So it's a really great option for you, based on that, as long as the initial payout works for you. So this initial payout that you're going to get on this is a $480,000, right? So let me ask you real quick, what is your mortgage balance? My mortgage balance is 425 or 400, let's say, right? Again, I'm just kind of going through a scenario here. Well, this now is going to give them $80,000 in this particular circumstance of liquid cash, right? So that's where we have to really kind of get in a discovery process to make sure that the $80,000 is going to get them from where they are to where they want to be, right? So I'm going to ask questions at this point like, hey, so where is it that you guys plan to go next after you get this home sold? Oh, wow, you're upgrading, right? And I'm going to start, hey, so are you planning to put 20% down? What does that look like for you on that, right? And then now let's just say I find out that they ultimately need to get more cash up front. They're shopping in $1 million price point and they want to put 20% down. So they need to put, let's just say, $200K cash down as an example, right? And so that's where I'm going to be starting to share with them, what does this look like? When are they looking to achieve this? Again, just constantly using the offers, the breakdown to do a need and wants analysis to ultimately build a relationship, right? That's the beautiful thing that this does for y'all, is it really gives you the ability to have a very serious conversation, to have a very consultative conversation, and get to know them at the same time, right? People want to do business with people that they like and trust, right? And so that's where we want to build this particular trust, by being honest with them and sharing what are these different options, what are the benefits, what are the drawbacks, and are they okay with these different things? Because either way, you've got them covered, right? You got them the solution. So let's say in this scenario, right, just playing it out here for y'all, like I always do, is let's say that we go back, we go to the underwriting team here at Zoodealio and say, hey, they need to put, the guy in this scenario can actually come up with, he's got other savings and he can take some money from, something else, and he's got about $75,000 at his disposal outside of this other cash that he's going to have. So now he's roughly $50,000 to $75,000 short from where he needs to be. Well, we can come back to that, and we want to actually give the buyer the ability to raise their offer from the initial payout to see if that number is going to work for him, right? So let's say, again, in this scenario, just because I want to walk you guys all the way through it, of course, if that happens and they can increase the offer that amount, well, great. Then we're able to move forward and they can pick their closing date as far out as 60 or as little as 27 days, right? As an FYI, if they do need longer than 60 days, we can give them longer than 60 days. There'll just be a new evaluation done on the property in 60 days to make sure that the property is not gone through a shift in value and things of that nature, right? That's just a requirement on the underwriting team from the buyers to make sure that everything lines up accordingly with value, and they're not going to buy a property that's in a situation that's changed with the value of the property so much. Okay, so that's scenario one. Scenario two, let's say that the buyer is unable to raise the offer, right? And now they're short a certain amount. I'm going to go back to that homeowner and say, hey, the buyer was able to raise the offer, but they were not able to raise it to get you the extra $75,000 that you need. It looks like they were only able to come up about $15,000, leaving us $60,000 short from where you want to be. That would end up, keeping you a little bit short. So let me ask you real quick: is this a net amount that you have in your pocket up front that could work for you and your family to get the new house that you're looking for? right? Of course, they're going to, more times than not, they're going to say, well, no, unfortunately, that doesn't work. I don't have the ability to get that other cash, or I don't want to borrow the money, right? Whatever that looks like when that happens, right? Ultimately, so instead of losing that opportunity, which is, by the way, the reason why I'm being so redundant, over the time and sharing this with y'all is because this is one of the areas where I see agents could use some assistance in making sure that we convert that this particular prospect. So what I'm going to do in that is I'm going to say, hey, I'm going to have done some market research, of course, in the meantime, I'm going to be looking at the absorption rate of that particular property. Like, what's the average days on market? If we sell the property, what do we really need to do to get this property sold in a healthy time frame, right? Is it, can I go in and be consultative around very minor repairs? Can I go in and be consultative around the positioning, light staging, removing things, things of that nature, right? So then I'm going to just, kind of cut to the chase on that and say, hey, because this is where the math problem comes into play. So I'm going to ask them, I'm going to say, hey, well, what if I can show you a way that not only can we get you the extra $75,000 that you need, but I can get you an actual extra, $250,000, right? Because now there's now there's going to be no reserve, right? And potentially other pieces here. I can help get you to, again, I'm just going to use very fair numbers here, an extra $200,000 in your pocket, and I can do it for you in as little as 75 days. I would imagine that would be a win for you and the family, right? Well, yeah, of course, right? So then from there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to search for that yes through the math of it all, right? And then once I get that particular piece done, I'm now going to really kind of almost assume the frameworks of what we need to do to get their house in position to be able to put it on the open market and sell it for the price that needs to be done in the time frame that I have allocated, right? Because that's where I'm kind of putting we're putting ourselves up against it, if you will, is here's how we can sell this house on the market in this time frame. Let me show you the strategy. Now, the reason why I want you guys to take this persona that worked extraordinarily well for me is people are looking for that guide, right? Just like when we jump on an airplane, right? We're not going to trust somebody that hasn't flown the plane a whole bunch of times to take, 200 passengers across the country or whatever, right? Or wherever you're going. The reality, or a doctor, you're not going to go see a doctor for a need that needs to be done. If you have to have a form of surgery, right? You want to know that the guy has the expertise, or he or she has the expertise to get it done for you. So this is that exact same framework, guys, where I want you to be able to lead them, and you have to do that through understanding of the market and understanding of what it's going to take for their house specifically, right? Let's be honest. We all know that having a property, just because the market says one thing doesn't mean that their house is not going to have little unique differences and things that they really need, right? So as we kind of cruise through here, and ultimately, I'm looking for their primary need. Is it a time thing, right? Where you're looking for the cash offer, right? So maybe, again, and just being clear with you guys as we go through the discovery on this, people will tell you, yeah, no, this number doesn't work. However, once you show them the framework and what it's going to take, all of a sudden now they can come up with the other $50,000, and they understand more about the cash offer. They understand what problem it's ultimately solving for them, and they're more comfortable and confident, right? That's the beautiful thing that you guys are going to see here. So as you go through that needs and wants analysis of that particular homeowner, they're going to say this doesn't work, and then they'll actually say, well, I can actually come up with the different money for the down payment, knowing that we're going to go in, and if I don't have to pull the $50,000 out of my pocket for my down payment, and knowing that that's not coming from my pocket, and now I'm going to be able to sell my house at a surplus, well, that's amazing, and I'm definitely interested in that, right? Now they start understanding the investment and the return on the investment that they're actually making with their particular property. So it's a really cool thing, right? And as I'm going through here, right, I want you guys to realize that this is where the technology really aids you in what our primary goal is, right? To be to have the network effect, right? Our job, as I see it, right, and is in the understanding that we have a sales gig, right? For the overwhelming majority of us as real estate agents, when we don't have a client that we're actively working with, we're technically out of business, right? So we want to make sure that we're always in business, and part of how we get ourselves in business is have something to sell. And understanding that we have that there's a sales process, and that sales process doesn't have to look like or have the stigma that we all think it does, right? Ultimately, you're selling a service. You're selling an opportunity to work with you because you can solve a problem for them in a very unique capacity, and you are a full results sure thing. We can go to market, right? Get the property sold there, or we can always come back to the cash offer, or we can skip the market and just go straight to sold. Which do you prefer? Here's the terms and conditions. Here's the terms and conditions, right? And you can help guide them through your expertise as the market advisor that you are. Okay, let me stop my share here. Okay, so one other thing too, I want to do for us real quick. Let me kill this. Is I want to actually show you these things live real quick, how I got there, because I've done sharing this one in the past. A lot of people are, say, hey, this is great. How do I do this? So the first things first, I want you guys to see here is this home report and why this is so darn valuable and important to everybody, right? Number one is this is an option for you to be able to load your clients in. So let's go back in a scenario of you had met somebody at a networking group, your kid's soccer game, kid's baseball game, whatever that looks like, right? From a network effect. I personally put all of my contacts on this. I don't care if I sold them their house yesterday. I want them to monitor the facts, figures, and ultimately the logic of their house on a month in and month out basis. Now, the beautiful thing around this is not only are we going to serve up their value, we're going to give them home intel, right? They can, if this happens to be a prospect that has one or more homes, you can now get them to put in their property, and now they're monitoring their entire investment portfolio in one place. They can see their current equity position, right? Like in this particular situation, this person, they're showing that they're actually negative in equity, what we know. But maybe they've made that 13th payment, right? And now we can kind of come in here and calculate what's going on, the whole bit. And of course, this is one of the big things, right? So the different cash offer options that are available for the particular property are going to be served up and shown to them month after month. Now, what's great on this, guys, is what you're seeing is you're going to meet people, really where they're at in their stage of life. So let me just give it to you direct here. Number one, 5% of people are in that the selling cycle of the home, right? That's the national turnover rate that we all know. That's roughly 5%. Can vary anywhere from 4 to 6% on any given year, but I usually just call it 5. Okay, so that leaves about 95% of the people that own a home that are in the quote unquote live cycle. Well, guess what? I want to bring that unique value proposition, how I'm going to keep them informed month after month on their greatest asset for 99% of them on their home, right? So I'm going to serve this up to them month after month. And that way, the 95%, I want to go uncover that 5% for next year or the following year, et cetera. You guys, I would imagine, catch my drift of what we're doing here by aiding you in this, right? So now I'm giving them, historical value, right? They can kind of come and see what's going on in their particular market. People always love to see what's gone on in the last year. Hey, has the value gone up? Oh, it's stayed pretty flat, which we all know to be true. What's happened over the last 3 years? How many homes have sold in my area over the last 3 years, right? Compare this against I'm thinking about moving to Boise, Idaho, whatever that looks like, right? They have the ability to kind of come in here and look at that. Now, of course, the other big thing I want us to see here is we can come in and interact with the AI, okay? So the home report is extremely robust, and it gives us a ton of opportunity, right? Now, what I want us to see here, now I just picked a random one, and I don't know what the engagement here is on this, but when the person gets in there and has that home report, and they've been looking at the different cash offer options, they've been looking at their equity, all of it is captured in real time and then delivered to you right here. If there's live conversations with Z per that prospect, they're all captured verbatim in the chat and then reported right back to you here, right? Now, the goal is to get these folks to open up their offer, to engage with Z, to interact, right? And so we've been very fortunate in, crushing it because of the different things that are going on, where we have a little north of a 20% open rate, and really then from there doubling down on getting the interactions in the home report. What are they clicking on? What are they doing? Now, the one thing I want to share on that, of course, is the goal. Like I said, give them the ability to, it gives you the ability to start a conversation. But going back to what I want you guys to know about how you're going to use this as the tool from the person that you met on a networking thing, right? You're now going to add Mr. or Mrs. Smith into this, right? Then you're going to call them up and say, hey, I've added you to my home report, which gives you the facts and figures that are going on for your home specifically, let you know about the neighborhood, down to your zip code, et cetera. It's a really cool tool. It's complimentary, totally on us, but I just wanted to let you know that it's at your fingertips. And one of the great things on that, since I know you guys are kind of in the early stages of getting an idea of getting the home sold, there's actually those cash offers that I was sharing with you about They're at the center of the report always. So month after month, you can always kind of check in and see what a cash buyer is willing to pay for your house. Feel free to poke around, check it out. And if you ever have any questions, of course, I'm here, right? So I'm going to give them that item of value. And now guess what? Like I said, the system goes to work for you, helping pull them in, right? And then of course, this is where this seller score comes into play. Now the seller score is going to run the data on their particular property, capturing all of their online intent behaviors, right? Which is, kind of not as much, where it's doing it maybe on the offer dashboard or the home report. But the big one is going to be around this base score, as you're seeing in this particular example, is how long have they owned the house, right? Maybe they have a high interest rate. Maybe they're in a really big equity position, right? So now the algorithm that we ran goes and finds those particular data points and then now forecasts back the score of people that you should be paying attention to based on just core data points that we want to be able to figure out, right? And now, so again, just these are great things that I want you guys to know are right here at your fingertips. One other thing I wanted you to see that I went through in the slides today is how to access the different PDFs, et cetera. So, right, if I click on this PDF offer breakdown, that's going to give you the side-by-side of all of these, right? However, if I come over here, click on these three dots as I had shared, I click on PDF, as you're going to see here in just a second. Boom, this pops up right here. And then, boom, I got this guy right here. There we go. Right, now I have a exclusive high-end offer breakdown for somebody that I could go knock on the door with, I could show up to the listing appointment with. The next time we're going to do coffee, right, I'm going to have these and just kind of subtly share with them what they are. Right now, I'm going to give them these parts so they can all do that, self-discovery. Now, the last thing I want you to know in this right here is this QR code. This is a beautiful thing, right? Because now this is going to pull them on that digital experience, right? So now you give that homeowner the ability to scan this, and I'm maybe going to even show them how it works live. I'm literally going to pull out, the PDF. I'm going to scan it right here, boom, and I'm going to show them the different, cash offer options that it's going to pull them into the offer dashboard. Right, I'm going to show them how that works. Now, the reason why I want to do that, guys, is again, this is we're getting that intent like we were talking about before from the score. Now, every time that they scan in, you're going to see in the notifications that they've entered that offer dashboard, right? And so again, when Mr. and Mrs. Smith, that you're early in the decision, making process. Well, in 45 days or 15 days, all of a sudden you see that their activity, their score, whatever boosts, you're going to want to double down and make sure that you follow up with Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and then you're not going to miss the opportunity, right? So again, to me, this is all just amazing cheat code stuff that we've created to help you be more efficient with your time, right? Because let's face it, time is without a doubt the great equalizer for all of us, right? We all only have 84,600 seconds a day. And what you do with them matters, right? So if I could be more on purpose with my time every single day and helping me be more effective so I know who's going to transact or who I can provide better service to, I'm winning, right? And so that's what I want you guys to do is start, ultimately use Zoodealio to win, right? Whether that looks like a cash offer accepted, whether that looks like getting you into a home selling conversation, whether that looks like helping you convert a buyer through the cash offer solution, right? Most people begin their home selling process with actually looking at the home buy, right? What's out there before I sell, right? So I want to just encourage everybody that has, most agents have a lot of buyer leads. They're way more, available, a lot more cost effective to create. And I want you to double down and realize that 60% of the people that are buying a house also have a house to sell, right? An overwhelming data point. Don't miss out on those opportunities. So by providing an additional solution, you're going to make yourself stand out from the crowd. And the last thing I'll wrap up before I go to the questions here is remember what I shared with you before. 70% of real estate is done by repeat and referral. So every person that I can take and put them into that bucket, that is a tremendous opportunity for me to get more repeat referral, right? The snowball just gets bigger. If I can take somebody that was a canceled, an expired, a FSBO, whatever, a lead registration place that I didn't know them, and I turn them into a client, right? Now I have them available to be getting a referring machine for me. Okay, so just smart business, smart production, begin with the end in mind, provide that epic service, really good stuff. All right, guys, as always, if you're watching this at this particular point, make sure that you like, subscribe, ring that notification bell the next time that, so you're notified the next time that we drop a new episode. Okay, let me hit these questions for everybody and see how else I can be of service. Okay, let's see. Joe, I'm reading is a big question here, so bear with me one second. I'm responding to my text. Okay, so Joe says he's got people responding to his text, email, ads, offering cash offers where he's struggling with is when I contact them, they just want a number or not interested in discussing the options, such as listing. Sometimes they want me to come look at the house and take pics, but the outcome is the same. And as soon as they see the cash offer price, they lose interest. When they find out the cash offer is not top dollar, I'm discouraged, wasting time with people, and really not interested in selling. I need a way. I need a way or a script to better pre-qualify them for the appointments, as to who's serious about this, so that I'm either getting the cash offer accepted or a listing agreement signed. Okay, Joe, thank you for that great question and being very vulnerable. Okay, so time is the number one thing there, right? I want to really encourage you, right, is that we have to be willing to play the time game. All of these people, remember what I said, it's not cash offer one that they're willing to do something, right? More times than not, it's 2 and beyond. Most of these people are 12-month leads, right? That's what I'm just going to share with you, right? A lot of how everything that you shared with me, these are going to be, 12-month leads, and be prepared for 24 months, right? So how I look at it is, even somebody that I'm going to do a deal with in 18 months, right? That's going to be my right now deal in 18 months, just like I have right now deals right now from 18 months before. So how I'm going to problem solve that, again, is lead with that particular cash offer. Now, where we're getting at in market value and whatever else, the 100%, the team should be lining up the value of the property within market value. Now, I don't know if you're talking about the first payout that they're discouraged once they realize that they're not going to get 100% of their equity right away. They're only going to be getting 70% of their equity right now, and then the rest realized later, right? So maybe that's a little bit discouraging for them. And then that's where, again, I'm going to go over that needs and wants analysis from them and showing them what the market is. And now the other thing that you want to be changing and looking at here is you're using words like listing agreement, etc. I highly recommend you don't use that, right? I'm going to be talking about a math problem, right? The whole time for them. I'm going to talk about what is the offer, what are they putting in their pocket? What is the offer, what are they putting in their pocket? Then from there, I'm going to say, hey, I'm really going to get clear on what they need to put in their pocket. And then I'm going to show them the solution that's going to get them what they want in their pocket based on the time. And then I'm going to ask them, is this a permittable option for you to get this much more money in this time, or which one's more important? Right? So that's the part, Joe, when you're doing that, and when you're doing that needs and wants analysis, you really need to kind of go into that discovery. What's more important, time or money, right? Because we all know time is money. But with that said, in this situation, do they need more upfront cash? And because they're handcuffed if they don't have that certain amount of cash. But then from there, my biggest thing for you, Joe, is going to